Alright, lots to unpack in this one, so buckle up. The first thing I want to talk about is how in the early rounds, Dmitry Bivol did a good job of keeping Artur Beterbiev off of him by countering his jab with his own jab after catching and slipping it. So we notice Beterbiev comes in with a jab, and Bivol parries it to get his head on the outside of it to safety. Notice that Bivol does not reach for the jab. He parries it close to its intended target, and parries it just hard enough for the punch to barely miss him, and with his free hand, he counters with his own jab. Here we see Bivol pull from the jab and counter with his own jab, and then we're going to see over and over Bivol use these techniques to counter Beterbiev's jab. Bivol is excellent at landing his signature pendulum jab when his opponents are resting or resetting, which typically happens after exchanges or when rhythm is lost from standing still too long, and that's exactly how Bivol utilized this punch against Beterbiev. At times when both guys are standing in front of each other, Beterbiev would reset the situation and reset his rhythm with an L step, and Bivol would counter this with his pendulum jab, chasing him down. Again, as both guys are standing in front of each other, Beterbiev resets the situation and resets his rhythm by L-stepping out, and then Bivol chases him down with a pendulum jab. And again, Beterbiev is going to reset with an L-step, and Bivol is going to chase him down with a pendulum jab. And so the early rounds saw Bivol control the fight with his well-placed jabs and counters to keep Beterbiev at bay. After this, Beterbiev began to pick up the pace and make some adjustments to take control back. One such adjustment was adding a jab feint to try to bait out the counter jab from Bivol so he could counter Bivol's counter with a right hand. So here we see Beterbiev throw a touch jab to Bivol's guard. It isn't meant to do damage, he just does it to get Bivol ready to counter his next jab. So next we see Beterbiev throw the jab feint and then a right hand. Bivol did not take the bait by trying to counter the jab that ended up being just a feint, but if he did, Beterbiev would have slipped to the inside and his right hand would have countered it. As you can see, Beterbiev slipped his head to the inside as he threw the right hand. It's important to note that after this sequence, Bivol almost completely stopped countering Beterbiev's jabs, after doing so many times in the first 4 rounds. He must have known the risk of guessing wrong could have ended up with him knocked out by a counter right hand, and Beterbiev began to really get his offense going now that his jab wasn't getting neutralized anymore. Beterbiev was able to come in with 1-2 or 1-1-2 combinations where the jabs occupy Bivol's guard and sets up the right hand. And even though Bivol would block most of these right hands, they were so powerful that they would still hurt him, knock him back, and give him the bruising on his face. And it's not like Bivol was just standing there either. He was usually stepping away with the punches, so Beterbiev's punches have so much power that he was hurting Bivol through his guard and while moving away. Just look at how Bivol is stepping back with Beterbiev's 1-2, and even though he catches the right hand on his guard, it still blows him back away where he can't counter. The thing is, throughout the rounds, Bivol didn't stay stationary in his high guard and allow Beterbiev to get shots off like he did at times against Canelo. Bivol was always moving to help take some power off of the punches. I thought if he ever stood still in front of Beterbiev and allowed him to get the shots off that he let Canelo land, he would get knocked out, but he didn't. And despite this, these blocked punches still did more damage to Bivol than any clean shots he received from anyone else. It's really impressive how physically imposing Beterbiev is. Anytime Beterbiev got anywhere near Bivol, Bivol would feel the need to move away from him, giving up space in the ring, burning his energy moving so much. It didn't matter if Bivol would counter Beterbiev's jabs, like in the early rounds, or walk Beterbiev into a combination. Nothing Bivol did could back Beterbiev up or phase him. He just kept coming forward, and Bivol would get knocked back and hurt from blocking punches. It's like Beterbiev is the unstoppable force and the immovable object at the same time. It's crazy. I usually don't talk about physical attributes in my videos since I like to focus on the strategy and technique of boxing, but this was crazy to watch. Beterbiev was able to pressure Bivol back just by inching forward and imposing himself, since Bivol didn't opt to stand his ground. The thing is, when Bivol started to get close to the ropes, he would break his stance and square himself up so that he could circle laterally to get away. Beterbiev caught onto this and would patiently pressure Bivol close to the ropes to get him to do it, and he would really chase down Bivol and unload on him since Bivol is not in his stance to throw return fire. See here how Beterbiev backs Bivol up to the ropes, and Bivol squares himself up to shuffle away laterally. Beterbiev chases him down, cutting the ring off and unloading punches on the ropes, since Bivol can't throw return fire without his feet set. Again, Bivol gets close to the ropes and breaks stance to circle away. Beterbiev simply cuts the ring off each direction Bivol goes and punches him along the ropes with no worry of a counter as Bivol is not set. And one more time, Beterbiev pushes Bivol back, and Bivol squares up to shuffle out laterally again. Beterbiev sees Bivol L-step, so he knows Bivol is going to move to his right. Beterbiev will cut the ring off by mirroring Bivol, moving in the same direction so Bivol lands on the ropes. And from there, Beterbiev continues to land punches and cut the ring off every direction, giving Bivol no escape and also no opportunity to set his feet to punch back. On top of making Bivol constantly move around the ring, Beterbiev started mixing in right hands to the body after his jabs to further slow down Bivol. The change in target from the head to the body keeps him unpredictable. And lastly, a subtle adjustment Beterbiev made is fixing the telegraph in his jab. There are subtle cues fighters are used to seeing to anticipate a punch coming. In the early rounds when Beterbiev was getting countered, you see he's coming in, then right before he jabs, he lowers his hand slightly. Bivol sees this and is able to recognize the jab. Later in the fight, Beterbiev comes in and shoots the jab without a hand movement, telegraphing the punch, and it lands cleanly. As always, special thank you to my GOAT tier patrons, Jason Maheenan, Grant Gabriel, Albert Chen, Gostal Ageza, Marshall Bott, Jesus Galindo, Nyan Valdez, MSM Neal, RC, Daniel Contreras, Lionel Johnson, Val Ravenheim, Jacob McMillan, JJJR, Sua, Josiah Rozier, and Maxwell Hodge, as well as my channel member, Lucas Miller. You guys all keep the channel going, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Thank you all for watching.